we don't know what's going to happen. Veach is methodical, so he's got his ways of doing things. And
they should let Harvin line up at the running back position.
Yeah. I mean, it worked.
You never know.
It worked for Hill, so why not? But,
that's true.
Yeah, man. We don't know yet. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. We appreciate it, man. Thank you. Long-time listener. Next question is from Football Derek. How many straight years have the Chiefs won the AFC West? That is 6, my friend. 6 years they have won the AFC West title in a row. 6 times.
6 times.
We have not seen many other teams do that before.
No. And you know what? It's 6 honest times. Let me emphasize that. 6 honest years in a row that we've won the AFC title and AFC West title. And I should say, I emphasize honest, because those are all years that we did it with no help, with adversity, without some of the best, with some of the best, and we still did it. So that to me is hats off. I mean, amazing for a football team to do, honestly. So
that's true. I think that's great. I think that's the only question we had from my end, JP. I think you put out a tweet.
You can go ahead and find them. I don't know. I didn't know if you did, so I put one out.
You're good, man. You're good. The next question is from Jennifer Williams. Watched the game live. It was a first game in person. It was amazing. Just checking to see if you heard any updates on Clyde, Tyrann, and Willie. I know, JP, you know all that stuff. Let's take it away.
Well, first indication was when I got a call from the field about 30, 40 minutes after it happened, that they thought that he might have a fractured collarbone CEH. They weren't 100% positive. That's why I put it on Twitter that, maybe. First indications, I should say, are that it's a fractured or a cracked collarbone. They did put out a tweet a little earlier saying that the x-rays were, I guess, negative, which I don't know if they're meaning that they couldn't see it because of the bruising, or if it was negative for cracks. Just so you know, sometimes x-rays don't show everything. You probably already know, but when bruising goes down, then an MRI will show if there is any cracks, if it's a hairline fracture, if it's something of that nature, then we'll see more. As far as Tyrann Mathieu goes, he's got a little quad injury. From what I heard, it was either a bruise or a little bit of a pulled quad. Should not be a problem for next week. Willie, not real sure on Willie. I thought if I remember what he told me, was an ankle injury, but I'm not 100% sure. It was either ankle or knee. I can't remember now, but I don't believe it's anything serious at this point.
That's good.
So, but thank
you. Well, man,
questions.
That was one heck of a game.
It was. That was a heck
of a game. I have to say, I was a little frustrated that they didn't take out the starters, but I mean, that's what it is.
Well, hey, they took them out about, I think it was 11, right at the 12, just under the 12-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And that was after all the injuries actually happened. So for the most part. So I think that was after all the injuries, correct?
Yeah. Well, we got hurt towards the end of the third quarter, and I was kind of like, why don't we just take him out and let Chad Henne and them just run the ball with Derek Gore?
Well, Chad scared me a little bit.
As we saw, Matthew was dealing with it, and then,
Chad scared me a little bit there. I mean, he
two straight drops. The ball twice, and I was like, man, hold on to the ball.
Well, I know the ball was
hey,
wet,
it is what it is.
Yeah, and he hasn't had a chance to, to play in wet weather or anything of that nature, but 2 straight in a row like that. I know he was pissed off about it because that's uncharacteristic of him. But for all the guys out there that, said that, that he should be that fire Mahomes and all that stuff. What do you think now? Should he be the starter? I mean,
say that one more time. Who should be the who?
For all those guys out there, and the guy that put out the change.org that thought that, Mahomes should be benched and Henne should be the starter. What do you think?
I'm just saying that thing's probably been deleted about 3 times, and they're still trying to scout from the internet, but it is what it is because they're not true fans. Because as you and I have said this, JP, give them time. We saw them come back when they were down 20-10 in the Super Bowl. They were down 17-7 in the AFC Championship game. They were down 24-0 in the divisional round playoff game. They came back and won all games. This year hasn't been tough, yes, but they have figured it out in these games, came back and won. That's what you need at the end of the day when you're playing these difficult teams. No team is easy. This is the NFL. You may come out there and beat up the Steelers, but you're going to run to a Bengals team that's just as good next week. So the Chiefs need to keep it going, watch the film, rest up. Hopefully we can get Kelsey. Hopefully we get Nick Bolton. Hopefully we can get Lucas Niang off the COVID list, and let's push forward because the job's not done yet. The Chiefs just won the 6th AFC West title. They expected to win those. We win those all the time when they expect the Chargers to win. We've won the AFC West. Now it's time to clinch that number 1 seed fully. Once we do that, let's win our playoff games, and then let's get to the AFC Championship game, win that. Let's get to the Super Bowl and win that. Yeah. We're at a point now where I tell Chiefs fans, take it week by week by week. Anything can mess up a team's season. So you guys need to be humble, be aware, anything can happen, and be blessed that this team is kicking other teams behind because we haven't seen that before. We just haven't.
No, and be honestly, really thank your lucky stars that we have the depth that we have.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if we didn't have that depth, we'd be back in the 2016, 2017 season when, somebody would get injured and we'd get our asses handed to us. So, or prior to that, but, and a lot of people are pointing that out and they're right, because when you really think about it, every year they have said the Chargers, and what's that guy's name that's on NFL Network? Reich, he's from St. Louis, baseball fan. I've interacted with him on Twitter.
Is he the Bills? The angry one guy, Kyle Brandt.
No, not him.
Are you sure?
No, this guy, he's
it's not Peter Schrager. He's a Chiefs fan.
Reich, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty sure it's Kyle Brandt.
Well, I've interacted with him as well, and he kind of irritated me last week with the Bills thing, but or the week before. But no, this guy's name is Reich, Reich or something like that. He's been on there for a long time. No, he's I
don't know who you're talking about, man. I'm sorry.
He's been on there. He's been on there for a long time. He's on NFL Network. He's been predicting the Chargers every year for since 2016. But in fact, a couple of years ago when we won the Super Bowl and they didn't make the playoffs, I said, because he halfway through the season, he said the Chargers are going to take the Chiefs out and they're going to be the ones that are in the Super Bowl. They're going to make the playoffs. That they're going to take the Chiefs out completely. And I went back and I said, so you really think that, honey? He says 100%. And I said, okay, I'll talk to you at the end of the season. And when we won the AFC Championship game and we went to the Super Bowl, and then when we won it, I said, so what happened to your Chargers? And he goes, all he could say back was they lost. I think his name is Frank Reich.
I think I remember you telling me this story. I don't remember the person's name, but I think I remember you telling me this story.
He's from St. Louis. Weirdly enough, he's from St. Louis. But and he goes, they lost. And I said, well, I know that. I mean, that was obvious. But I mean, I thought you said they were going to go to the Super Bowl and, playoff Super Bowl and beat us out of everything. And he said, well, they didn't. He got really very frustrated about it. And this year, he again said the Chargers were going to be the team to beat in the AFC. And when the Chiefs had their little, I guess, stumbling act there at the beginning of the season, he was making a big deal about it, saying, see, the Chiefs weren't all that. They weren't what they thought everybody thought they were, blah, 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 blah. And where are the Chargers at right now? I think they're a game.
They're probably gonna miss the playoffs.
They might miss the playoffs. Yeah, most likely will.
It's that tight though, so anything can happen.
It is, and it's weird because we are the first team, by the way, everybody, in the entire AFC, we are the first team to clinch a playoff spot. So, if that tells you how tight the AFC is, and how long it's taken to get to that point, we had to win the division. And we're the first team to win a division in the AFC, but we're also the first team to clinch a playoff spot. So that tells you how difficult it is in the AFC right now, where 5 teams already did it in the NFC. We are the first team that did it in the AFC. The team that wasn't going to make the playoffs 8 weeks ago is now not only holding the number 1 seed spot, but the first team to win and then win the AFC title. We're also the first team in the AFC to clinch a playoff spot. So hopefully, I mean, they still have something to play for. So they're not going to, I mean, I don't want everybody to think they're going to start sitting everybody because they're not.
Nah, they got to win to get this first round bye because we need players to rest. We want CEH back.
Yeah.
We want, if anyone else gets hurt, we want a fully healthy team.
Exactly. So, I mean, you know, right now we want that first round bye. And if we win next week, and I feel like we can and will, but if we play better on the road, and lately we've been playing on for the last year and a half anyway, we've been playing up better on the road than we have at home, except for tonight. And I feel like we can beat them. I feel like our defense is just nobody's come up against our defense that we have right now yet. And I don't think there's a defense out there that is as good as ours. So, and oh yeah, by the way, before we wrap this up, I wanted to say to Jerry Lychek, I think that's his name. He's the reporter from Pittsburgh that reports on golf, but decided to chime in on Twitter about how Melvin Ingram hasn't performed. I'll put it that way. And how he worded it was, how did he say it? Melvin Ingram has done exactly what he is doing exactly for the Chiefs as he did for the Steelers, little to nothing. Yeah. Well, just so you know, Melvin Ingram was the reason why that fourth down conversion didn't work for you guys. And the reason why our defensive line put Ben on his back and all the pressure from that side was because of Melvin. The reason why our defense has played so dominant throughout from the line all the way back is because he shored up that defensive line.
You did?
And by the way, little guy.
Pressures.
Yeah. Golf master there. Just so you understand, he's happy here. He may have not done anything for you guys because he was miserable. They
weren't letting him play.
He was promised something your team didn't give him. And which is not unheard of for Pittsburgh. That's kind of normal. I mean, I'm not slamming you guys, but it's true. This has been a topic for a long time that you guys have promised players certain things and it never came through. But
James Harrison, a prime example. Players been there a long time.
Exactly. And also, actually, weirdly enough, Le'Veon Bell. But you guys, when your coach and everybody promises a player something and then it doesn't happen, they're not going to be happy. So just like Tomlin said, and I'll give him the respect for this, the guy wasn't happy here, so I let him go. Well, you just let him go to the team and he was a reason why you lost tonight. And I understand that. I get the fact that at least he was man enough to do it. A lot of teams don't care and say, you know what? I don't care if you're happy or here or not. You're staying. I'm not going to trade you out to a rival into an AFC team. I'm not going to do that, but he did. And he knows, but Mike Tomlin also knows that he's got a rebuilding year coming and he needs that pick regardless of, he could use that pick for something else. You could use it for leverage for something else. And that's fine for him. We needed it for what we needed it for. We're most likely going to re-sign Melvin Ingram for next year. So, and we'd be stupid not to. Honestly, we'd be stupid not to re-sign him.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is we need to re-sign Frank and Melvin Ingram. We need to bring them back some capacity, some way, somehow.
100% agree. I mean, the guy, Melvin changed the culture of that defensive line, and Frank came into his own, after his look. I know I was critical of him at the beginning of the season to a degree. I've always, both of us, Caleb and I both have had his back since day one. And I know what he was doing there at the beginning of the season, or I thought I knew. And I kind of did know to a degree. And I said some things that I'll be a man enough to say I was wrong about. But he come into his own. He had his conference, his talking to, I guess I should say. And he realized what he was doing, not only to himself, but to the team and his teammates. And after his injuries were gone and his mindset got straight, he's been lights out since that day. And we need to keep him around. And utilize his talents and let him stay with a team. Again, another prime example of what our team culture